Hello YouTube. So I wanted to go through, I tried this video earlier, but a little glitch happened with the render distance. I set it to 32 and that's not a good idea because it says it's slower and then your processor has to render all these blocks. So anyway, besides that glitch, let's get right into the video. Uh, just a fair heads up, tomorrow I will be showing you how to install Forge and Optifine with it, and even light loader, just to add everything in one video. So that's going to be coming tomorrow. So anyway, in this video, let's get right into it. So how do you increase your frame rate in game without the Java arguments? So first of all, let's take a look at my settings. I did turn these off because I attempted this video and as I said something broke, whatever. So let's get right into it. Render distance, normally I play on 12, and servers, by the way, servers only use 10 or 8 render distance. Some of them even only use 6, so anything above 10 is only useful in single player, unless the server otherwise says, or they make it higher. Anyway, I usually recommend this on 8 because it's a pretty fair render distance, but yet again we want to increase frame rate. So what are we going to do? Let's take this down to about 6. I think 6 is good. I have a bad computer downstairs, and 6 is perfect. Also, here's my frame rate, by the way. Earlier, let's see here. Compare the frame rate. So this, it's only like 400, about 500. Yeah, last time I observed it was about 500. So 500 FPS. Let's take this down to 6. So 6 is pretty comfortable, good distance. I like that frame rate. It's doing really good. Now, you're probably not going to get as many FPS as me, and I am not saying you're going to get over 1,000. You will get about a 400% increase compared to my last video, which is only 80. So anyway, let's continue. So VBOs, this loads the world faster, or as you can see, vertex buffer objects, and this is with Optifine. Remember that video is coming tomorrow. So this uses an alternative rendering model, which is 5 to 10% faster than default rendering. Personally, I think it should be off, but that's my opinion. You guys could keep it on. So far, the frame rate says it's no. Actually, it seems fast. Yeah, it is faster. Is it? You know what? Never mind. Scratch that. Keep it on. Yeah. Turn VBOs on. Alternate blocks. I would turn these off because as you can see my frame rate's now about 700. If we turn this off, it is going up a little bit. In my opinion, that's a little bit because the faster your processor is, the more unstable it is. So 40 FPS, if you're playing on 40 FPS, you might not get 1,000, as I said, but you might actually end up getting, who knows, if you're going from 40 FPS, you might end up getting 80, double. So that's actually really good. I'm going to keep this off because it seems to have a temporary frame increase. I like that. Fog start, don't mess with this. Fog on fancy. If you turn it off, it doesn't do much. Fast fog, I don't like it because over here you can see the edges and it's kind of like, it's like a flat picture in front of you. I personally keep this on fancy because it's not too big of a frame hit to me at all. So this one you're going to have to experiment with on your computer, but I'd recommend keeping fog on fancy, and fog start, definitely keep that at 0.8. Because if it's close like this, that could just get annoying. Unless you like it like that, it's perfect for scary videos, I guess. Next is, this is with Optifine shaders. I actually turned these off. Now, obviously, if you're trying to increase your frame rate, you're not going to want to turn on shaders at all. So, good thing that's off. Details. Now, default is good, but clouds actually destroy your frame rate. No joke. I don't know if the clouds are on in the game, but from what my experience, fancy and fast clouds can destroy your frame rate, especially if you're playing in the mountains. Especially on my server, link. Well, actually, no, it's not a link, is it? The server IP will be in the description, but my server is using a custom terrain generator, and there's a ton of mountains where you're in the clouds. This could really tank your FPS in there. So, because I play on my server, I'm turning this off. Trees. I like how I added the smart feature. Fast is okay. Fast is looks bad. So let's get over to the trees for this. So this is fast. It fills in all the transparency with a shade of black. So because of that, it's not transparent at all. So you could see right now I'm getting about 900 FPS. If I open this menu, where we're actually looking at everything, about 820. Yeah, 825. So if I go in here and set this to smart, we go down to 750. Never mind, scratch that 700. Personally, I keep this on fancy, and it does take quite of a hit at the frame rate. So yeah, if you're really looking to get high frame rate, keep this on fast, definitely. But I'd recommend, if you have a worse computer, set it on smart, because at least it looks okay, I guess. But yeah, anyway, that's me. So trees, set that to fast if you're trying to get high frame rate. Rain and snow. So I set this to fast because if it's on fancy, it goes like for 10 blocks in front of you. Like you see the rain falling 10 blocks ahead of you. Fast, all fast does is make it fall like right here in this square region. So you see it, but it's not all up in your face. And I think that provides a higher frame increase than other things when it's raining in the game. So definitely keep this on fast, and I don't turn it off because it gets annoying when you hear the sound and you see the sky change just a little, or you don't hear anything but the sky just changes. I just keep this on fast so I know it's raining, but you know, it doesn't annoy me. Sky and sun and moon, never turn these off. It's not going to destroy anything, but it's very useful to know what time it is in the game when sun's going to go down. So I definitely recommend leaving that on. Sky, I don't see any difference. I guess you could turn it off. Let's see how much frame rate increase we get. I guess we're getting higher frames with it on. I mean, no? I don't even know. So that, I just keep that on just to be safe. Stars, I'd recommend leaving stars on because turning the stars off doesn't really give you too much of a frame increase, and it looks way better with them on. So leave those on. Capes, I definitely keep those on. Tooltips, that's the thing right above your hotbar with the name. I'd keep that on too. Vignette, I don't know how you pronounce this, but if you look towards the edge of the screen, you'll notice it, especially in dark areas. So if I go down and into a really dark area, you'll see this ring right around here. That ring is the vignette or whatever it's called. So right now my frame rate, and I'm looking at my frame rate before I change anything here, because in different areas of the map your frame rate is different. So right now I'm getting 1180, so around there. So if I turn this to fast, that thing goes away, and it did worse for some reason. Did it? Oh no, that was just the game settling. So yeah, when I turned it on, it just went down by like 100. Now if I turn it back on, like on fast, It stays the same. Hmm. I don't even know anymore. Yeah, when I turned it back on, it went up like by about 50, I think. So it gives you a little bit of FPS, but yeah, I'd keep it on fast just so it doesn't annoy you when you're in a cave or whatever. Now translucent blocks. I don't run into translucent blocks all that much, and if you're a builder, I'd keep this on fancy, but if you really need the frame rate, I would turn it on fast. Because if you walk up to buildings with lots of glass, or stained glass, water, ice, whatever it says right there, it could really benefit from being on fast. And I haven't really noticed any, like, bad colors from it either. Just looks good. So dropped items. I keep this on fast because it's 2D. Here, look, fancy 3D. So if I get 2 swords, I drop that one. See, look, it's on fast. I mean, this is fancy. Like, it spins 3D. It looks cool and all. But let's go to... Oh, no, not that. This, on fast. Just stays in one area. Like that. There you go. So, yeah, sorry this is a long video. I'm just trying to be as in-depth as possible, testing as I go, being safe, you know? So anyway, yet again, I keep that on there, and this, dynamic FOV, so like when you're sprinting, as it says, sprinting, pulling ball, that stuff, I personally turn that off. I find it better to be off, because then it doesn't mess with my head, but also off should be faster, because it doesn't have to calculate all that stuff. Now I'm trying to go a little bit faster here. Particles. I would turn off void particles, because those could have a huge frame hit if you're in the void. So let me just show you an example really quickly. I'm pretty sure you've all seen it. Yet again, I am trying to... Gotta go fast here. But... yeah, so I can't see any right now. I don't know why they're not showing up. But yeah, void particles. Yeah, anyway. Just to be safe, I always turn void particles off. Now, what is it? The portal particles, I turn those off because they're not really needed. Textures animated, you could turn that off, but some of them look bad if it's not animated, so I keep that on. And you don't really use too many texture packs that are animated. Everything else here actually has a reason to be on, because it could look pretty bad otherwise. So I would leave them on. Now, particles, I usually find this decrease to be the best because it's not too many particles and it's not so little you can't see them. Yeah, so decrease is perfect for me. So one quick thing to show you is with TNT, I guess. I don't know. I just saw TNT. Let's go for it. So TNT, one TNT. Let's see the particles on decreased. You see, it's okay. Frame rate went back up really quickly. Now if we go back to animations and put them on all, I didn't see too many more. Actually, you know what? That's inconclusive, but just to be safe, I put it on decreased, because that's what I always play on. And quality. These, I usually leave everything here just the way it is. I'm gonna keep clear water on. Swamp colors on. I turn that off because it's... oh my god, sorry for stuttering so much. I turn swamp colors off because... you know, it's faster just a little bit, and I'm not gonna spend all this time finding a swamp. But because I'm trying to make a quick video here. But yeah, so I turn that off. Also, I don't like the swamp colors, but that's personal preference, and I don't know how much faster it makes it. You're gonna have to test that yourself. I imagine it is maybe 1 or 2 frames. Now, smooth biomes, I turn this off because it's like if you walk up to a biome, maybe there's 5 blocks where it slowly switches colors. I turn this off just to have a faster or higher FPS, even though I don't really need it, only because that is what the computer downstairs in my house actually plays on, and it's not a good one, or at least as of now. So, random mobs. This is random textures. Like, if you have a texture pack that's 3 different zombie textures, chances are you will see all 3 different zombies. But if you turn this off, it's only going to choose one of the zombie textures and stick with it, making it yet again less hard for it to choose which texture to use. Not, maybe no frame increase, but at least it's faster, in my opinion. And I don't like looking at a whole bunch of different mobs and not knowing what mob I'm looking at if they have too many textures. And connected textures, I keep this on fancy because some texture packs don't even like to work with fast, and I think connected textures should always be on fancy, and they don't really decrease FPS all too much. Finally, we're at the performance tab. This is where everything good happens. So, right here, I have smooth FPS on. First thing you're going to do if you have a low frame rate is turn this off completely, because now my frame rate just went up by like 400. Yeah, by about 400. 3 to 400, I don't know. Yet again, as it says, smooth FPS may fluctuate. However, when it fluctuates, it's going to be a lot higher. So only turn this on if you notice you're getting lots of lag spikes. Then you have a reason to turn on. Fast render. Turn this off and I lose FPS, maybe about 100. Turn it back on and I gain about 100 more. So it does exactly what it says. It says it uses an optimized rendering algorithm which decreases the GPU load and may increase the FPS a lot. Now I have a powerful graphics card, so even with this off, it's doing nothing to it. But if you're using an integrated processor, integrated graphics, sorry, then I'd recommend turning this on. If you don't know, keep it on. That's what I do. I even keep it on now with a good graphics card just to be safe. I mean, it did increase the frame rate by 100. Now, smooth world. This, yet again, it's how quickly this chunks load. It says it removes lag spikes. Turning this off, 100 more FPS, 200 more. Yeah, I usually keep this off. Now fast math. Let's see this. So fast math, it optimizes the sine and cosine, which can better utilize the CPU cache and increase the FPS. So if you don't know, for those of you that don't know, sorry, CPUs have cache. It's kind of like a RAM, just way smaller. It's really quick. I forgot the exact use I guess. I forgot the exact use for it, but some CPUs have bigger caches than others. So if we turn this on, it kind of optimizes Minecraft's algorithms. So if we turn this on, I am getting 1250. Yeah, yep, 1250. Turn it off, and I'm getting more. Now, I don't know what's up with that. It should be faster, but I'd have you guys experiment with this yourself, because this is insane. You know? It's supposed to be faster, but it isn't. So yeah, I'd like you guys to experiment with this yourselves. Chunk updates. 1 is better. It's the best. It's gonna be slower, but it's also the fastest. So it's gonna load, let's say, it's an example. It doesn't load 1 chunk at a time, I can guarantee that. But let's say it loads 1 chunk at a time. Loading 1 chunk at a time is way faster than loading 3 at the same time, and definitely faster than loading 5 at a time. Now because my computer gets enough FPS, personally, I set this to 3. Now you can come into issues where you see like past the fog and you see chunks aren't loading. That's why it's loading slowly. However, only if like you're sprinting on ice or flying that this happens. So 1 is definitely recommended. Lazy chunk loading, keep that on. It's kind of like, imagine yourself being laid back, sitting there tired. You don't want to be forced to like rapidly spam every letter on your keyboard to type a sentence. You would rather sit back and like take your good old time, type 1 letter at a time, because you're calm, you know? So that's what it is. Except, yet again, it says right there, effective only for local worlds and single core CPU. Turn it off if parts of the world do not load correctly. I'm turning this off, and I get, well, yet again, the game's paused, so it's probably not going to say. But yeah, it says effective for single core CPUs only. Now, if you don't know what processor you have, I would keep this on. If you do know, and it's higher than a single core, let's say it's a dual or quad core, mine's a quad core, so I'm keeping it off. But that's what I would do. So yeah, I would turn this off, but it doesn't seem to have too much impact on the frame rate till I just set it. Anyways, bear in mind one more thing. If you haven't seen my other video, okay, now let's actually play real quick, just a little bit, just so you guys can see that it increases the frame rate. Anyway, if you guys haven't seen my video on how to increase your frame rate on any computer by about 80%, please go check that out now, because I am currently using that script with my Minecraft right now, and I actually think it helps. So, like it looks like it helps, but if you also go look at the comments, there are quite a few people who agree. Now, dislikes, I don't know if it didn't work on their computers, I don't know if they're trolls. That's up for you to decide. You could like that video, or dislike it if you want, like this video, or dislike it if you want. But I would recommend you like it if it helped you, just to help it get out there. Cause my frame rate when I started this video was only 400. Now it's 1500. Well, anyway, let's not make this video too long. I will upload another one tomorrow or the next day that is much shorter, but covers the exact same thing. And as always, I will see you in the next video.